Hello, Evanston, and thanks for joining me on this Wednesday, February 24th. Now, coming up in today's local Evanston news, the budget is finalized. However, find out why it is still worrying city officials. Plus, see why hundreds of local parents were waiting in long lines for hours yesterday. Now, we'll have all these stories plus plenty more coming right up after this break.
Yeah, this is Daddy Yankee telling you to donate blood through the American Red Cross. Each blood donation can help save up to 3 lives. My people, go to getlife.org today and make your appointment. Together, we can save a life. Daddy Yankee, El Cangri, manténlo real.
Welcome back. Topping our headlines today, 5 Evanston teenagers involved in a bus fight have been charged with misdemeanors. On February 18th, a physical fight broke out on a CTA bus outside of Evanston Township High School. Now, 3 juveniles were charged with disorderly conduct and 2 18-year-olds were charged with mob action. A court date is set for March 10th. And the city budget may be finalized, but that doesn't mean that everyone will accept it. Union workers could potentially decide not to cooperate with the budget changes. About 3/4 of city workers are unionized, and there are large changes in the budget that are unfavorable to unions. Some of the changes are an additional 4 unpaid holidays, an increase in employee contribution to life insurance, and no pay increases for this year. Now, we will keep you up to date on how the city union workers respond to the budget changes. And with the budget done, library supporters are just getting started. Tonight is the first meeting for the supporters of the branch libraries. To keep the branch libraries open, supporters need to collect $500,000 in private funds in just 6 months. They also need to come up with thousands of dollars in additional funds for renovations. After much disagreement, the City Council voted to give library supporters only 6 months to raise the needed money. Now, if the money is not raised, the Council will have to decide whether or not to officially close the branches. Well, a group of elderly residents were successful in their petition not to move. We mentioned this story earlier last week. The building at 1900 Sherman Avenue had told many of its elderly residents that they needed to relocate while water damage was being fixed. Those asked to move started a petition, believing that the move would cause more harm to them than staying. The Cook County Housing Authority is letting the residents stay as long as they sign a risk waiver. An architect who reviewed the building's damage said that relocation of residents for this type of problem is very uncommon. And from fixing buildings to lighting them up, Evanston residents got a treat last night. The Rotary International Building lit up the phrase "In Polio" on its building using window lights. The club also lit up the Wrigley Building in downtown Chicago and many famous buildings and monuments all over the world, and also plan to be lit up this month. Now, the Rotary Club, which celebrated its 105th anniversary yesterday, has been in the forefront of fighting polio for decades. The Rotary Club's headquarters are located right here in Evanston, and there are 33,000 locations all across the world. And coming up after the break, parents get into a line in the early hours yesterday morning, and no, there was not a Springsteen concert coming to town. We'll be right back.
Fire took place 3 years ago. There was a lightning strike. The winds picked up and the fire just took off. You're in shock. You don't know what you're feeling. You have nothing anymore. I lost my home and 40 years worth of art. I never thought that I would need help from the Red Cross. They gave me emotional support to get up in the morning. I'll never forget what the Red Cross did for me.
Welcome back. Well, many parents waited in a long line for hours yesterday hoping to get their children into kindergarten. Yesterday morning was the first day of kindergarten registration, and it was extra stressful this year because only 28 kids will be allowed into each classroom. This means that many children will not get into their intended class and will have to be relocated to another school. On Monday morning, parents received an email saying that children who already had siblings at the school they are registering for will receive priority. Now, if you have a comment on this story or any other stories that we have previously mentioned, make sure to comment in today's blog. Now, that's all we have for today. I will see you right back here on Thursday with your latest headlines, just one click away. For all of us here in the studio, have a great evening.